Hey, this is Mr. RugerCat45, and this is another survival tip video. And this one, I'm going to be talking to you more about tool making, materials for making knives and other tools. Um, if you're in an emergency situation or in a post-apocalyptic situation or just a survival scenario, um, there's a lot of different scenarios. You may not have a knife, or you may lose your knife, or other scenario like that. What do you make it out of? Well, everybody knows, saw blades, files, springs, and things like that. A lot of those require quite a bit of stock removal or forging and a lot of work to turn it into a finished product. However, uh, you can find a lot of other tools and objects that you can make into very high quality knives right in your own home. So number one, old putty knife or mortar scraper, whatever it is, I'm not sure. I call it a putty knife. Now be sure, if you get a chance, if you have the option to, try to find or look for the old rusty ones, the carbon steel ones. A lot of the newer ones are made of stainless steel and are junk. Now in a survival situation, you can't pick and choose. If you have nothing else but a stainless one, it's better than nothing. However, this one I was going to make an ulu out of, and I saw them at the pawn shop, and right now hand tools at pawn shops are a dime a dozen. Pretty much everybody is going to electric and power tools, so the pawn shops are completely flooded with a lot of hand tools. And since the economy's bad and times are tough, people are selling off, pawning, and trading their old tools just to get some money and be able to make ends meet. So right now is a great time to hit up your local pawn shop and go look for some good hand tools. Power tools are okay, but if there's no power, well, then there's no tool. So you might want to look at some other possibilities. This is a American-made, made in USA right there, a Hyde. And you could tell it's good steel, as I showed you in the last episode, or in the Bowie episode, I believe it was, about the butter knife Bowies. You can tell a lot about the steel by the way it sounds. If it rings like a bell, usually it's good carbon steel, and that means it's been tempered fairly well. So you can tell that's got some definite flex, and it rings like a bell. It'll definitely take and hold an edge. Now that right there is almost sharp by itself. If you need to make a tool out of that, it would not make for more than a few hours of work to sharpen that up, and you've got like a ulu type knife for cutting. A few more hours and you can cut that out with a chisel or whatever else, or if nothing else, you can always just grind it on a hard rock, sandstone, or whatever. If you have access to files or a grinder or something like that, by all means take advantage of it. But if not, you've got a handle already right here, full tang, and all you have to do is shape the blade, and you've got a decent tool. That's one option. Another one is old knives, or knives that are already there. Maybe some of the longer butcher knives aren't the best, but if you cut it down, you can make a lot stiffer, better tool out of it. Now this is made out of an old hickory knife, old hickory butcher knife by an Ontario Knife Company. It was a 7-inch butcher knife, and I'm in the process of making a little neck knife type Bowie out of it. It had a huge chip or nick taken out of the edge right there. I traded for it, oh gosh, probably about 25 years ago or so, and I never got around to repairing it. When I ground the chip out, There really wasn't really much else to do except make a shorter knife out of it. So I went ahead and used a cutoff wheel on my Dremel tool, cut the blade off right there, shaped the handle on it, and all it needs, sharpen the edge, wrap the handle with some parachute cord, dip it in some varnish, rub it with some epoxy, and make a sheath for it. And you've got an excellent, excellent tool that'll last you a lifetime. Now this one is in the process of being made still too. This one is it's going to be a short fighting Bowie knife, and this one's made out of an old crosscut saw. Also cut out with a Dremel tool. It's not quite ground to shape yet, and hopefully this winter or whenever I get my shop set back up, I'll be able to use this or finish this. So that's just a little something on emergency tool making and the materials that you can make tools out of. So remember, that's one way you can tell good steel. And keep your eyes open, and don't be afraid to think outside the box. There's a lot of tools and a lot of materials that'll make good knives and other tools out there that you can use. Just think a little bit. This is Mr. Ruger Cat 45. Y'all have a good day.